Welcome to the Daily Jerry Anderson podcast that today lists topics that listeners forbid us to discuss and then, of course, proceed to discuss them at length, displaying scant regard for the sensibilities of these aforementioned loyal listeners, many of whom are innocent. Listen, here's a gentleman who says that there are certain words and phrases we should avoid today, and these are the words and phrases we'll avoid today. Fairy tale wedding, a day to remember, bringing the country together, goosebumps, receding hair, stall the wedding, alien probing, Sean Coyle and Tom Jones. They don't want to hear that story anymore.
What Tom Jones story?
It's Tom Jones' story you always tell.
Sure, I have only told that maybe
5, 6 times.
No, maybe twice.
Northern Ireland elections. Did you see in the paper today that 200,000 people turned off the leaders' debate the other week on UTV?
I didn't know it was on.
How you say? Everybody turned it off. I wonder why. How surprising is that? Other things not to mention: Roy Rogers, Tom Mix, Hopalong Cassidy, Gabby Hayes, John Wayne, and or their horses. Boyhood skipping games.
Well, no, we see there was no boyhood skipping games. There was no games for boys. So whoever wrote that, they don't know what they're talking about.
No, but they've obviously heard this programme because we have before in the past.
There's no boyhood.
No. We have talked about skipping games for women, which we joined in. Do you remember that with the girls used to put their skirts in the knickers?
Yes.
We just go over to have a look at it. The presenter is trying to ease Coyle's interrupters through a difficult period. He seems to have lost his confidence. The presenter senses this and studies medical journals for help. And yes, as always, help is at hand. Information is everything. He said, it was interesting to hear you try to help Sean yesterday with what is essentially, in medical circles, a rare condition. It was first identified in the 70s by a professor at the Sorbonne. You know, of course, that's in France. A prominent research psychiatrist, and his name is Dr. Chotador.
That's almost Chinese.
It's Anyway, Dr. Chotador first became aware of this condition when he interned in a rest home for entertainers in the French Riviera in the 60s, and has subsequently published a number of papers on the subject. He identified this condition as a chronic fear of impressions.
Oh.
Further study and input from other sources led him to label it Yarwoodophobia.
Mike Yarwood had a bad time with that.
Exactly, that's why he named it that. Yarwoodophobia is a fear of impressions.
Yes.
After a well-known English case in the 70s involving Mike Yarwood.
Mike Yarwood.
Remember, he used to do Harold Wilson.
Yes.
And that kind of thing.
He gave Harold Wilson that saying. Harold Wilson never said that. What was it? Come on.
No,
as I said at the Brighton conference.
He gave him his laugh, as I said at the Brighton conference. Anyway, that's long. But this is apropos of what we're talking about. Standard treatment recommended includes the random shouting of catchphrases from the sufferer's past. This may indeed jolt the patient out of his stupor. I see you're in one now. In the patient Coyle's case, may I recommend the following. Random phrases from well-known, long-running soaps like Coronation Street, such as, Chicky Monkey!
It's not Coronation Street.
Chicky Monkey!
Chicky Monkey.
Chicky Monkey! See, it's working on you.
Have I to repeat them?
You see, you try to do it. Yeah. No, you see, you don't want to repeat them, but you'll naturally do them.
Chicky Monkey.
Chicky Monkey!
Chicky Monkey.
Chicky Monkey!
Yeah. Who said that? Elsa
Everybody
Tanner?
says it.
Oh,
Chicky
really?
Monkey! Or else, I don't know. You see, you're starting
can.
You see, you're doing it already. It works. Further talk ensues on the nature of impressions. Many disparate sources are quoted and analysed. Even the founder of evolution himself is summoned. Charles Darwin is carrying out a special study of how Jerry Anderson's Davy Hammond morphed into Seamus Heaney. You see, he spotted that.
Diddy-diddy-dum-diddy-do. That's what I was doing, I think. There she was, just walking down the street singing do-a-diddy-diddy-dum-diddy-do. Snapping her fingers and shuffling her feet.
It's all right now, Sean. It's okay.
Do-a-diddy-diddy.
Don't try and too much too soon. Okay.
Diddy-do.
Diddy.
I had to get my final diddy-do out.
I know, you have to get your diddy-do out. Davy Hammond, quite correctly, Davy Hammond, God rest him, is dead now, but he was a wonderful character. He used to talk like that. No, he wasn't. He didn't. Tell me that. Hey. And then he did indeed morph into Seamus Heaney. Bring back James Boyce. Charles Witherspoon. You used to do a good Charles Witherspoon.
Did I? Yes, you did. I don't think so.
And Sullivan Boomer. Do you remember Sullivan
You used to
Boomer?
do Sullivan Boomer.
Sullivan Boomer. Here's the news. Some of it is good and some of it is bad. I'll read the news first. But first of all, let me just tell you this before I read the news. Some of it is not suitable for human consumption, especially if there are children in the room. Make them leave. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll read the good news first, and then I'll tell you what the end of the good news is. And then when I tell you what the end of the good news is, hunt the little chiselers out. And then I'll tell you the bad news with all the graphic detail.
Yesterday you announced that Sarah Brett would be celebrating... What do you call that programme? Talkback.
Talkback, yeah.
Why did you use the word celebrating?
I don't know, it just came to me.
Sarah Brett will celebrate...
Because I just wanted to celebrate her doing it.
Oh, right.
Because I think she's very good at it.
She is.
So is Michael Crawley. What do you call him? William Crawley. And so is everybody else. But she's particularly good, I think.
I think
because we like Sarah. Sarah's our colleague upstairs, and we think she's very talented. And we've always thought so.
What about a wee call?
Yeah. A frisson of excitement is palpable amongst the staff of the programme at the prospect of the royal wedding. We have been granted a day off to celebrate and intend to make full use of the time to give thanks and hope that the happy couple's journey into life will be a pleasant one and not blighted, as ours have been, by want and deprivation. Dear Bootsy and Snudge, pause here for Sean to remember his black and white childhood. I noticed that Father Jack has gone missing from Emmerdale. If you noticed that, you don't watch Emmerdale. I noticed that. He's gone. Has he been murdered or hidden under the floorboards of the wool pack? Or has he been replaced by one of the bar stools? We don't know. On a totally unrelated subject, I heard a T-Rex song on the radio yesterday, and the lyric went like this: Metal Guru is a tube. I never knew that Mark Bolan was Ulster Scot. Mark Dolan. That'd be a great name for a show band singer, wouldn't it? Mark Dolan. But you probably knew him. He still owes you a tenner. No. Only some dead rock stars owe me a tenner, not them all. Great show yesterday, kid. A great show which greatly eased the prenuptial tension and nerves in Buckingham Palace. That's my friend, Jerry, so it is, said the Queen. I had him over for tea and biscuits, so I did. What a lovely man he is, so he is. So cultured, so elegant, so very fond of vodka, especially them wee eggs. But what does he do? Said Prince Philip. What does he do? I said to him. What do you do? He looked at his Hopalong Cassidy watch and said, It's 9:30, Your Highness. Gormless, if you ask me. Just like Charles. Tommy Cat Esquire, I yelled. Ja, mein Führer, roared Tommy. Tomorrow morning on the stroke of 8 o'clock, I expect to see you sitting bolt upright on a straight-back chair, wearing a swallow-tailed coat like Groucho Marx used to wear whilst he was being funny and smoking a cigar. Ja, mein Führer, yelled Tommy. Permission, please, to fill my jackboots. Nein! You will wear your patent leather black shoes, the same shoes you wear when we watch Strictly Come Dancing. Now, when we first see the bride's dress, we must oh and ah, so let's practice our ohs and ahs. Tommy and I clasped our hands to our face, opened our eyes wide and went, oh, ah, what a wunderbar Hochzeitskleid, which is German for wedding dress. Och, and Master McGraw, now comes the exchange of rings. At this point, we will both fall on the floor together, go into a fit of blubbering, sobbing, weeping, crying and keening. We then turned towards each other and sob, I love a wedding. Then the happy couple leave the cathedral. We leap to our feet, sing 2 verses of God Save the Queen, Rule Britannia, and Knees Up Mother Brown. Or knees up, indeed. What do we do then? Said Tommy. Nothing, I replied. The wedding will be over. We will have a light lunch, consisting of black pepper salad and boiled blubber, and then turn over to RTE and watch Podge and Raj. But the world moves on, and an intense interest still persists in stupid childhood games. It is important to get the rules right for reasons that I do not know. Neighbourhood pride depends on it.
Apropos of Kerbie, or Kerbie.
Yeah, Kerbie.
Down in our way.
Did you hear this? Kerbie?
A
different thing.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same game. The rules are very, very localised. Now, the scoring method and rules that we had were stood on either side of the crib path, as we locally called it, threw the ball. If the ball hit the other side and rolled along the ground towards yourself, across the dividing line of the road, that was 1 point. Okay?
Can I ask you what age you are?
Me?
Yes.
Jerry, you know me very well.
Can I ask you now? Come on.
I'm 45.
Now, crib is obviously a mispronunciation of Kerb.
Correct.
Okay, right. All right. Carry on.
You're putting me off here now.
That's what I do. That's my job.
So you threw the ball then. If the ball hit the other side of the curb and bounced high up into the air and you were able to catch it, you got 2 points.
Oh, great.
If you were able then to do that, you got a middler, where you went to the middle of the road.
I'm very fond of a middler.
You went to the middle of the road.
I have one every weekend.
And you were able then to take as many shots. Were they to bounce up into your hands, you got to continue the practice until you failed.
I see Emma becoming animated. What's no, hold on a second. You're going too fast for us. What's a middler again?
A middler, right? If you catch the ball when thrown and you caught it at the other side of the road, you got to move into the middle of the road and continue throwing the ball ad nauseum until you failed to catch the ball.
You can't do this on a motorway. Obviously.
Unfortunately not, because they don't have the requisite crib path.
That's what's wrong, yeah.
You also could score a huge 10-pointer if, with your back to the opposition, you threw the ball high up into the air, it hit the curb at the other side, and you scored 10 points.
A seemingly impossible task.
A seemingly impossible task for the less skilled player.
But you see your opposition.
Yes.
Could they prevent the ball from hitting the curb? See,
by shooting you or something?
No, if you had a big high one.
Well, if they did that, they'd get a swift punch in the mouth.
Thank you for listening. Back tomorrow. No, not back tomorrow. Back some more time.